The CEO disguised himself as a worker to inspect an electronics factory. To his surprise, he found that the cafeteria's meals didn't contain a single piece of meat. The workers seemed used to it, and no one dared to question it. The CEO felt puzzled and immediately asked the chef why there were only vegetables and no meat. The chef ignored him and told him to get lost. The CEO became furious. At that moment, a kind worker pulled him aside. But even after sitting at the table, the CEO grew angrier the more he thought about it. The workers seemed accustomed to this treatment, and they advised him not to make trouble, as they had all accepted it for years. They told him they had never been served a single meal with meat. When the CEO wanted to ask why, the deputy factory director's son suddenly sat down beside him. The chef immediately brought out a plate full of meat for him. This unfair treatment made the CEO even angrier. The CEO immediately questioned the chef, saying he just claimed there was no meat. The deputy director's son scoffed, saying that low-level workers didn't deserve to eat meat. One worker advised the CEO to drop it, warning that if he offended management, they wouldn't even get food. Upon hearing this, the CEO was furious. He stated that the company had allocated funds to improve the workers' meals, ensuring each worker was provided 2 meat and 1 vegetable dish per meal, but now only the leaders could eat meat. He angrily demanded to know who made this rule. The deputy director's son admitted that he had set the rule, explaining that the company headquarters was far from the electronics factory and couldn't supervise it. So here, everyone followed his orders. He was outraged that someone dared to challenge him today. To teach the CEO a lesson, he threw a piece of meat on the ground, ordering the CEO to get on the floor and eat it, or he would be fired on the spot. Seeing how arrogant the deputy director's son was, the CEO decided to teach him a lesson. He slowly rolled up his sleeves and started hitting the deputy director's son without mercy. The workers felt it was satisfying to watch, whispering among themselves in surprise that someone dared to hit the deputy director's son. A female worker remarked that, although it was unexpected, watching the son get beaten was quite satisfying. Subordinates quickly helped the deputy director's son to his feet, but when they moved to confront the CEO, they were intimidated by his presence. Still defiant, the deputy director's son ordered his men to call the head of HR. The HR director was actually the CEO's wife, though she didn't know her husband was the group's CEO. Seeing the deputy director's son injured, she scolded her husband for not valuing his job, and apologized to the deputy director's son on his behalf. The deputy director's son refused to accept her apology, insisting that workers who hit management must be fired. But since she pleaded so earnestly, he agreed to give her husband one last chance, demanding that he kneel and apologize immediately. However, the CEO refused to comply, and was ready to leave with his wife. The deputy director's son immediately ordered security to take him to the security room for a beating. At the critical moment, the CEO's secretary arrived just in time to stop them.